This quick tutorial is going to show you how to use Google Drive in order to create a Google Doc that you can return to all semester for your reflective rights. To start, you need to find the student work folders for this class, and you can get there by clicking on this link. Once there, you should only see the folder that is for you. You should not be able to see everyone's folders. As an example, I'm just going to go into Rebecca's. So for this assignment, you need to create a new Google Doc for your reflective writing entries. And I'd like you to name it your name, INEC 512 reflective writing entries. And then you've got your first prompts that I'd like you to respond to here. So step one is to create a new Google Doc in your student work folder. And the way you can do this, there's a bunch of different ways. You can either, in this white space down here, right click with your mouse and select Google Docs. It's going to ask you, do you want to create this and share it with the people who have access to this folder? You want to click create and share. That's going to give me access. The other way you can do it is click this big plus sign up here that says new. And you're going to select Google Doc. You want to always select create and share. So what that did is opened a brand new blank Google Doc, and it will appear in the student work folder back here. First you need to name it. So the name will be reflective writing entries. So I want you to name it with your last name. That's always just a good practice. Put your name as the first thing, then the course code, and then the document name. And then what you're going to do is go back here and grab the reflective writing prompts, copy them. I just did a Command C. You can also right click and copy. Go back to your file, and the first thing you should do is put reflective write number 1, and if you want to be fancy you can say module number 1 and enter down and paste what you've copied. Now you're going to see that it comes in under this Roboto font. It's just a preference, a pet peeve of mine personally. You don't have to do this, but I like everything to be in the same font, and it actually comes in a little gray. Pick black under the font, and then everything is exactly as it should look. And then you're going to give yourself some space and just type your answers right underneath. The next time you come back to this document, after you've written, you're going to get comments from me, you're going to get your grade from me. You're going to use this same exact document for every single reflective write. So what I'd like you to do is, after you've written this whole thing, enter down a couple of spaces, and I would like you to insert a new page break. And what that does, let me get my view to print layout. What that does is it bounces you down to a fresh page to start. Reflective write number 2, module number 2. And then you can post those prompts that you have to write to. So the reason I like the page insert is that no matter what I type up here, so let's say I go crazy and I write loads of stuff, it should bounce your reflective write number 2 down to a fresh page so that you always have your new work on a new page. So no matter how much you write up here, your reflective write number 2 will stay at the top of a new page. Okay, so you got to make this Google Doc in your student work folder. And let me just explain some of the shared functions. So as you can see in this Google Doc, it says over here in the corner, this share button with the torso, you can see that it's shared with one person. All of your documents in this class that are being submitted should say that. And if you click on share and you click on advanced, you can see that I have access to this, I'm the owner of it, and Rebecca has access to this because I made it in her work folder. That's correct. You always want me to have editing access. And then what I do when I'm grading is, let's say you're talking about the strategies that resonated with you in Module 1, the work plan, and then blah, blah, blah. And then I will come in with either the comment function and say more about that, and leave you a comment, or I might even use the editing function under suggesting. This is like the Microsoft Word version of track changes, and I might actually suggest that you make a space there, and then those become my track changes. Those are my suggestions for you. Those kinds of things, the track changes, are probably good for you to go through and accept. Those are like editing suggestions. But I would really appreciate if you would leave the comments that I make in this document so that I can see what I said in previous documents. Because every time I open your reflective rights, I look back and see what you wrote previously, and if I left you a comment like, oh, you've got a lot of spelling errors in this one, or check on your inclusive tone here, I'll look back at former reflective rights and make sure that you're making progress as you move forward. And if you resolve comments, just know that they kind of disappear up to here, and they are never really gone unless the creator of the comment deletes it. And you can always reopen your comments if you want to see what was written. So if you see when you click resolve, they kind of like zoop, go up here. So this is how I use Google Docs in order to give you feedback and make suggestions in your document. There is also a chat function. You can't see it right now because I'm the only person in this file, but if somebody else were to pop in, if Rebecca, who's the only person who has access to this, were to pop in, we could actually engage in a chat, in a conversation here. Which is kind of interesting to do. So if you're working, I could come in and chat with you and leave you comments, and we could have a little conversation. Okay, so that is how you create a document. I'm actually going to delete this out of Rebecca's folder so she's not wondering why there's a random file in her folder. You're going to do that for reflective right 1, and you're going to return to this every single time you have a reflective right that you're going to add to. So you will not be creating a new reflective right document for each one. You will not have 10 of these by the time you're done. You will have one reflective right document with 10 pages in it.